following breaking news on CBS News Colorado.
Boulder police sharing new information on an officer-involved shooting that took place last night. It happened near the North Boulder Rec Center. Let's listen into their update.
Investigation, and then they will take a few questions. But again, a lot of this information is still in the preliminary stages. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Gossage to walk you through some of what happened yesterday. Deputy Chief.
Thank you all for being here today. I have some preliminary information about the officer-involved shooting that took place last night near the North Boulder Rec Center in the 3100 block of Broadway in Boulder. In the spirit of full transparency, I will share with you everything that I am able to share at this time. Thank you for your understanding that this is an ongoing investigation, and additional and updated details will be released later. At approximately 4:10 p.m. on December the 17th, our 911 dispatchers received a call from a driver who reported that he was approached while he was in his car in the driveway exit of the North Boulder Rec Center by a woman who had a gun and pointed it at him. Our first officers arrived on scene at approximately 4:12 p.m. About 2 minutes later, at approximately 4:14 p.m., the officers located the suspect near the rec center. The suspect did not comply with officers' verbal commands. Instead, she headed northbound on Broadway on foot. The officers followed her and attempted to gain compliance. They informed her that if she did not cooperate, she could have force used against her. She did not cooperate and continued walking away, turning down residential side streets. The officers followed her and used less lethal attempts to get her to comply with their orders. They also saw her remove a gun from her purse. Officers followed her and attempted to de-escalate the situation for approximately 15 minutes, using less lethal strategies and verbal commands. De-escalation attempts proved unsuccessful, and officers discharged their weapons, striking the suspect at approximately 4:26 p.m. Immediately afterwards, officers began to administer medical aid to include chest compressions, a tourniquet, and chest seals. Boulder Fire Rescue arrived a few minutes later to assist them with medical aid. Unfortunately, after nearly 40 minutes of administering emergency medical aid, the woman died at the scene. The gun the woman was holding was later to be determined a replica Beretta pistol. Thankfully, no officers or other people were injured during this incident. The use of deadly force is something that no officer wants to do. The taking of a life is the most serious action an officer can take. The incident is a tragedy, and our thoughts are with the friends and family of the woman who died. Per state law, Boulder County Investigation Team took over the investigation last night, as happens in any case where an officer has fired his weapon. They are currently conducting interviews with the officers involved and other witnesses, and I am unable to give more specifics about what occurred during the confrontation with the suspect. When they're finished with the investigation, they will present their findings to the district attorney's office. Thank you for your patience as the Boulder County Investigation Team continues to conduct a thorough investigation into this incident. The Boulder County Coroner's Office will identify the suspect, notify next of kin, and determine the cause and manner of death. I also want to mention that detectives are also seeking information about a trespassing call that police received and responded to earlier in the day at the rec center at approximately 3:13 p.m. It was a report of a woman inside of a bathroom refusing to leave. It appears that the woman who was trespassing at the North Boulder Rec Center was the same woman who was later shot. With that, I'll turn it over to Michael Doherty from the DA's office.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Doherty. I'm the district attorney. I appreciate the media being here today. Given the loss of life, this is an incredibly tragic incident, and it's very unfortunate that we're gathered here today. I wanted to join you today, talk a little bit about the process going forward, and to answer any questions you have about that process. After the tragic shooting that took place yesterday, the Boulder Police Department immediately notified the Boulder County Critical Incident Team. It's a multi-agency team made up of detectives, investigators, and crime scene analysts from different police agencies, so that the Boulder Police Department is not actively involved in the investigation into the officer's use of force. As required by state law, it's a multi-agency team that is determined to, and I can assure you will conduct, an incredibly thorough, independent, and objective investigation, and then turn it over to the district attorney's office for a review. The reason the Boulder Police Department notified the team immediately is so that the team could be involved from the very beginning, including the witness interviews. And given the time of day and location, there were a number of civilian witnesses. I would encourage civilian witnesses to come forward and speak with the Boulder Police Department about what happened. We've already received some video from civilian witnesses who were there. We will take all this material in through the team as part of their investigation. Witness interviews are being conducted currently. Once that investigation is completed, which of course will also include body-worn camera video, crime scene analysis, ballistics evidence, and so on, that's all turned over to the district attorney's office, and it's my responsibility and the responsibility of our team at the DA's office to review the entire investigation and determine whether the officer's use of force under the law was justified or that they should be charged criminally for any of their actions from yesterday. That's the standard and requirement that we have in any case involving an officer's use of deadly or potentially deadly physical force. We will let you know once the investigation's been completed and turned over to the district attorney's office. As the members of the media are likely aware, but it's important to remind everyone, once that review is completed by my office, we will announce a decision as to whether any of the officers should be criminally charged or whether their use of force was justified under the law. I then, as I do after every officer-involved incident, host a community town hall where I share all of the materials, the evidence, the videos, and so on that led to the decision. So that's going to be happening in the weeks ahead. But I will just circle back to what I said at the very start. This is an absolute tragedy anytime there's a loss of life. I could promise you that the investigation is going to be thorough, as it should be anytime an officer uses deadly physical force. The Boulder Police Department notifying the team immediately allowed us to start the investigation immediately yesterday. That continued throughout last night and continues, as you heard already from Boulder PD, throughout today and in the days and weeks ahead. I'm happy to take any questions you have, and I'll turn it over to the Public Information Officer for the Boulder Police Department to walk us through that process.
What is the status of the employment of the officers?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
What is the status of the employment of the officers?
They're employed currently per policy. They're on administrative leave with pay.
How many officers discharged their weapons?
2 that I'm aware of.
And did the woman, was her gun loaded? Was her gun loaded?
I don't want to give the details of the investigation until it's fully complete. And quite frankly, I don't know.
You said it was a replica of a Beretta, or it displayed what that means.
So it looks like a firearm. It feels like a firearm. It says Beretta on it. It looks like a pistol.
Is it a firearm?
And that was the Boulder Police Department providing more information on an officer-involved shooting. We'll have the latest here on air and on CBSColorado.com.